Hey guys, I'm here with Chris Erhardt. And if you don't know Chris Erhardt, look it up. This guy is a legend in the game industry. We were just talking about this. He's, I should say Dr. Chris Erhardt. He actually has shipped 27 games?
27 since 1987.
1987, that's a long time in the games. And he's doing something special here. This is somewhat of a new venture, a newer venture for him, and I think it's really going to have the potential to change the way we think about learning about games and the dedication behind that. Chris, I'll let you give a little history of yourself and what you've done.
Sure. Like said, in 1987 is when I started video games and worked for Activision, Electronic Arts, GT Interactive, Infogrames, and then in 1998 transitioned to becoming an instructor over at Digibin. In fact, that's where we first met. And until 2007, I was associate dean over there. And then after some physical problems, I had to take some time off and moved to India, opened up a non-profit Indian gaming school in Hyderabad, liked the idea behind the non-profit so much that I hooked up with the Academy of Interactive Entertainment, which has been doing this for 15 years in Australia. And we decided to open up 2 campuses in the United States, one here in Seattle and one in Lafayette, Louisiana.
So how's that going so far?
It's really going well, because one of the things that's different between a non-profit model and a for-profit model is that we're following most of the Australian guidelines. Australians aren't big into degrees. You know, as far as they're concerned over there, what they want is they want workforce education, which is all about hands-on, applied, practical knowledge of arts, sciences, maths, and programming. So what we're doing is we're bringing that 2-year program up here, and we're introducing it to the United States, and the industry has been impossibly receptive, because everybody we've been talking to on our curriculum committee, the game companies in the local area, are really supportive of it, because what we're doing is we're setting expectation management for the students that, look, you're going to come in, you're going to get 1,600 face time, contact hours with an instructor, and then you're going to go out and you're going to basically be a journeyman. You're going to be an apprentice at a game school, or not at a game school, at a game studio, and you're going to be putting things together. Along with that, we're offering high school cyber camps, where we're teaching kids between 11 and 18 how to do mods, and how to do programming, and how to do animation and arts. So it's going really well from a perception standpoint with regards to the industry. Parents are the ones that we have to change the perception on, because American parents still are of this degree crazy mindset. And while we do have a degree at the Seattle studio, most of what we have been trying to focus on is re-education of parents. So what it's really about is, it's about learning the tools of the trade, as I'm sure you're aware of.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at one thing about, you know, how many mod developers get jobs in the industry because they're really amazing modders. It's very, very common. So it's more about showing you can work with the tools, you understand how the functionalities work, and you're an excellent coder. It doesn't really matter if you have a degree behind you, or it isn't. It's not as applicable, right? In our industry, 'cause it's more about your actual skill set and your actual ability.
Yeah. The other thing is that being able to focus on those 2 years, what happens is the programmers go to class Thursdays and Fridays. The artists go to class Monday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday is the integration day, where they make their games. In fact, on the iTunes store, you can download an iPad game called Blue Dog, which is a counting, spelling, colors game for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, which one of our first-year student teams did. And you might say, well, how can they download it off the iTunes store? It's freeware. Well, that was their decision, because one of the things about being nonprofit is, if our student products are really meritorious and the students want to move forward and publish them, we have the ability that we've worked out that they can get their IP back and be able to actually commercially distribute their products. And that's really a good feeling, because that allows me to know that if a student team puts a lot of blood, sweat, tears into something like they did in a mod, they're able to actually benefit from that and show it in their portfolio and give it to a publisher and say, look, you can actually download this right now and play it. That's
something that Digipen lacks right now. You know, I mean, I've heard numerous times people that are frustrated about doing a senior project and then you can't bring it with them afterwards, or they have to redo it at least.
Well, I was at the school for 9 years, so it's a great school. Don't get me wrong. No, there's nothing I can say bad about the place, otherwise I would have left for various reasons, but I didn't, because it's really good education. But the thing that's different from us is, since it's workforce education and it's actual hands-on training, and it's so focused. We had to allow the ability for the students to be able to, since it is only 2 years, have something that they could move forward with. And we've also got 2 incubators we're working with in Louisiana and in Washington State, that if the student teams want to take it just to the next level, and they really, it could be polished into something really good, like a good Xbox Live downloadable game, or a good PlayStation Network game, or even a good game on Steam, or something like that, what they can do is they can actually do that. We've got, we're really strong fans of like Amazon games. They've got a great mentality. You should check out how they're doing things. And also the iTunes store is really receptive to these kinds of things also.
So you mentioned before, looking at mods as a training simulation to get familiar with the tool sets. When someone comes in and they want to learn about games, 2 years is a short period of time. A year, obviously it's an intense program. Do they choose? Do they say, I want to do this type of game or that, or I want to specialize in this kind of engine, or is there anything to do with any choices the user, or the user, any choices the student makes as they come in, and do you have any kind of different kind of focuses depending on what they choose?
One of the other problems is with only 2 years, there's no choices allowed. It's like, this is the program and this is how we're going to do it, and we're going to put training wheels on you for the first couple months, then we're going to take the training wheels off, and then we're going to give you an engine, and then you're going to be dangerous. So it's pretty much extremely formulaic what we've done with regards to that. So they don't get much latitude with regards to, I want to do basically first-person shooters, or what I want to do is I want to do turn-based strategy games or anything like that. No, it's more focused on the tools, because the studios right now don't want people that don't have a good grasp of the basic concepts, be they animation or programming. Here's a little known fact: most of the studios right now want the artists to have a really strong foundation in 2D animation before they get into 3D. So they know about lighting, they know about storyboarding, they know about scaling and such. And we're finding that actually a lot of our high school programs, because we do a lot of Running Start and AP course programs along with our summer cyber camps, is where the mods are really, and the mod engines and the community, is really able to push forward the processes of thinking in a processing manner that they need to have in order to get into the mid and high level programming languages.
What engines do you guys use right now?
Currently, we're using at the college and the high school level, ages 15 on up, we're using Unity a lot, because Unity and C#, there's a way that you can then transition to using Visual Studio to compile your Unity code, and then move over to using C# within Visual Studio. So that's kind of like that model I was talking about, training wheels and then switching over, and then going to C++. We're kind of backwards from a lot of places, because we found that retention was improved starting with C#, because a lot of times kids fall out because of math. Especially when you're dealing with linear algebra or linear vector math of any kind in programming. C++, it's a little harder to get across, but in C# and in a middleware engine, it's a lot easier to work with. And we're also having a lot of fun dealing with the porting capabilities of taking it to iPhone, iPad, Android phone, and being able to show how this is important to teach memory management. Because a lot of the downloadable content right now that the companies want to be able to have has to be below a certain megabyte threshold limit in order for them to want to keep it.
That sounds excellent. So, the content they make, is there a place that people can go find that content, or if they want to share the content afterward, the mods they make? Do you guys have a site for that, or?
Yeah. They can go to our website, www.theaie.us, and we also have a link of multiple YouTube videos that all of our students do. Classes start September 6th in Seattle, and they start January 29th in Lafayette. So if they want to see the work from the last 15 years from Australia, I'd recommend going to www.aie.edu.au, because it's going to be about another 12 months before they start seeing the fruition here. But you can see some of the high school stuff we did. We did a program this summer since we're a nonprofit, we got a grant and we gave it all away as scholarships to kids from the Workforce Investment Act who had never had an opportunity to do summer camps. And what we did was we taught them C#. In a period of 30 hours, we showed them how to roll out a Windows Phone 7 game, and Microsoft found out about it. And they did a 4-minute blog on their MSDN developer site and Channel 9, which you can get to, and that showed that, hey, if 14 and 15-year-old kids in 30 hours, it was an Arkanoid clone. If they can do an Arkanoid clone in C#, then obviously you high-octane programmers could probably do something a little bit more, turbocharged. And the other nice thing about it was obviously it worked on the PC too, so they were able to take it home with them on CD and take it back to school with them. So that's kind of the other thing about being a nonprofit that we can do is we can give a lot of back to the community. It's all about seeing what we can do to support, making sure that people who don't have the ability to really get an education at most places, or can't really support the traditional four-year model, have a way of getting into our industry as qualified working professionals.
How do the costs compare in this to other options that are out there?
Nonprofits traditionally are about the same cost as a community college. So if you were to look at how much we would cost, it would be probably about the same in this area as if you were going to North Seattle Community College or Lake Washington Technical College, because of the fact that it is supported by endowments, grants, and other ways of trying to get people to help co-fund this project. Students still have to pay tuition, obviously, but it's not at the level that you would expect at most private schools. And I think we are the only nonprofit private school that we've heard of so far in the United States. I'm waiting, maybe somebody can tell me.
So what's the plan to scale out? Obviously you have 2 locations right now. How large are the classes right now? Are you expanding the class sizes out in the 2 you have? What's the growth plan for this?
We're going to stay at 2 probably through 2014, 2015, and we're going to limit the size of the schools because we only allow 20 programmers and 20 artists per year into the program. That's it. And then we roll it over. And so for the next 3 years, we're not going to see over 120 students total at each of the 2 campuses. And we like that feel because what we're doing is we want to try and get as close to 100% placement for our students as we possibly can. So in order to make that number realistic, we keep our objectives realistic. So this year our objective was to have 40 for September 6th in Seattle. We hit our numbers, 20 programmers, 20 artists. And we're going to be working with them to get them internships starting around February or March so that they all have hands-on training over the summer.
That's excellent. That's very excellent. So any last minute things? First off, this is the mod community. So any shout outs to the mod community you want to make?
Thank you. This is the first one I want to say is because most of the people when I was working in the industry that I hired came from the modding community, and from the students that come in when I was teaching at my previous institution, I know for a fact that they were the ones that were focused, dedicated, and the quality coders. So what I like to say is thanks for being there, and most especially thanks for your channel, because what you guys do is you really get the message out and you keep the community alive and current.
Yeah, we believe in it, and obviously you do too, so it's excellent. So I'm looking forward very much to seeing what you guys do in the future. I think what we'll try to do is have something like this on a regular basis. We're in Seattle, we're in Bellevue, so
come out on the campus.
Absolutely. Actually, we can do that. We'll go out there and we'll do a video of the campus.
Sure. And what we'll do is we're hosting some IGDA meetings, 21 older IGDA meetings out there in Seattle. What we can do is maybe we can do a mod meeting for an IGDA topic.
That'd be excellent. Let's do that. So awesome. Thank you, man.
Good seeing you again.
You too. You too.
Right.
Thanks, guys.